20 men, one steel box, 9 months on the open ocean, sometimes 1,000 miles from the nearest land, no streets, no shops, no way off. This is how they actually sleep, eat, and stay sane out here. And some of it is stranger than you'd ever guess. A modern container ship can be longer than 4 football fields stacked with cargo worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And the entire crew that keeps it moving? Around 20 people, sometimes fewer. They live in a single tower at the back called the accommodation block, and everything that makes them human happens inside it. Where they sleep, where they eat, where they shower, where they try not to lose their minds. To pull this off for 9 months straight, a ship has to become a tiny, self-contained town that makes its own water, bakes its own bread, and runs on a clock unlike anything on land. Stay with me, because what happens near the end of this list is the part nobody outside the industry ever talks about. First surprise, most of them don't sleep in a crowded barracks like a Navy ship. On a modern merchant vessel, nearly everyone gets their own cabin. It's small, a bunk, a desk, a narrow couch, a private bathroom the size of a closet, but it's theirs. The door locks, and for someone living at work for 9 months, that locked door is everything. It's the only square of the planet that belongs to them. The walls tell the story, photos of kids who'll be taller by the time they get home, a flag from home, a strip of fairy lights someone smuggled aboard, tiny acts of rebellion against a world made entirely of gray steel. Here's where it gets strange. There is no morning and evening the way you know it. The ship never stops, so the crew never stops. They run on watches, usually 4 hours on, 8 hours off, around the clock. That means a man might sleep from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, stand watch through the dead of night, and do it again the next day. The body fights it constantly. There's no weekend out here, no day off. The same 4 hours, the same 8 hours, for weeks that blur into months. And then there's the other clock. The ship crosses time zones almost daily. On some voyages, the clocks move an hour nearly every night. Your watch lies to you. Your body has no idea what time it is. After a few weeks, what day is it becomes a genuinely hard question. You'd think the hardest thing to carry for 9 months would be water. You can't exactly stop at a gas station in the middle of the Pacific, so they don't carry it, they make it. Deep in the engine room, a machine uses the engine's own waste heat to boil seawater, catch the steam, and turn it back into pure fresh water. Hundreds of tons of it conjured straight out of the ocean. That's the water they drink, cook with, and shower in. So no, they're not rinsing off in salt water. They're showering in rain they manufactured from the sea itself. When the machine breaks, though, the whole town goes on water rationing and morale drops with the tank level now. Food. One person, the ship's cook, feeds the entire crew 3 meals a day every day for the whole voyage. No deliveries, no takeout, just whatever was loaded in port months ago. That means giant walk-in freezers packed before departure, pallets of meat, fish, vegetables, all rationed across months. The cook becomes the single most important person on board for morale. A good cook makes the time fly. A bad one, and you've got 20 exhausted men eating the same gray stew, getting quietly angrier by the week. And because crews come from all over the world, often Filipino, Indian, Eastern European, the galley becomes a negotiation. Whose food today? The smell of someone's home cooking drifting down the corridor can do more for the crew than any paycheck. Between watches, they fight off the boredom however they can. A tiny gym, a karaoke machine that's seen things, basketball on the cargo hatches with the ocean as the out-of-bounds line. Small rituals that keep 20 men from turning on each other in a space they can never truly leave. And then there's the simple problem of staying clean. 20 men working long days in heat, diesel, and salt, and no laundromat for thousands of miles. So the ship runs its own. A cramped laundry room with a couple of industrial machines that almost never stop, a rota taped to the door, and boiler suits drying in every spare corner. Salt gets into everything. Clothes come off the line stiff with it. Showers are quick by habit. That hard-won fresh water isn't endless and everyone knows it. It sounds trivial. It isn't. After weeks at sea, a hot shower and a clean set of clothes is one of the few things that still feels like home. A small reset that keeps a man feeling human when everything around him is steel and routine. And then there's the weather. When a storm hits, a ship this size doesn't punch through it, it flexes. The whole hull twists and bends in the waves by design. From inside, you hear the steel groan like a living thing. Sleep becomes a wrestling match. You wedge yourself into your bunk so you don't get thrown out of it. Cooking gets dangerous. Pots strapped down, the cook bracing against the stove. Everything not bolted down becomes a missile. The crew doesn't get to hide. Out here, they are the emergency services. There's no one else coming for hours, so they ride it out, watch after watch, until the sea finally lets go, which raises a question that haunts every long voyage. What happens when something goes wrong with a person, not the ship? Because on most cargo ships, there is no doctor, there is no nurse. If a man breaks an arm, swallows the wrong thing, or wakes up with a pain that won't quit, the most senior officer becomes the medic, armed with a manual, a locked medicine chest, and a radio line to doctors back on shore who try to talk him through it. For anything worse, the options are brutal. Divert the ship hundreds of miles toward the nearest coast, wait for a helicopter that may be out of range, or simply hold on and hope the body lasts until port. Out here, distance isn't just lonely, it can be dangerous. So why do it at all? Why sign away 9 months of your life to a steel box? For most of them, the answer is waiting back home. The money a seafarer sends back can be life-changing. Building a house, putting children through school, lifting an entire extended family out of where they started. In some parts of the world, the man at sea is the reason a whole household eats. That's the quiet deal underneath all of it. 9 months of their life traded for a future their family could never reach any other way. And here's the cruel twist. People imagine this job as seeing the world, exotic ports, foreign cities. The reality? A modern ship is in and out of port in a day, sometimes hours. Many crews barely set foot on land for the entire voyage. They sail past coastlines they'll never walk on, watch cities glitter on the horizon, and then turn back out to sea. But here's the thing that surprises people most. The hardest part of 9 months at sea isn't the storms or the work or the food. It's the silence. For much of a voyage, there's been little to no internet. A man misses his daughter's first steps, a birthday, a funeral, and finds out days later in a single message with no one around who isn't also 1,000 miles from home. That's the real weight of this job. Not the danger, the distance. The crew become a second family out of pure necessity, because for 9 months, they are quite literally all each other has. They cross every day off a calendar taped to the wall, counting down to a coastline they can almost picture. So that's how 20 people turn a steel box into a home for 9 months. Their own locked cabin, a clock that bends their body, water pulled from the sea, one cook holding morale together, no doctor when it counts, and a family back home they're doing all of it for. The next time a package shows up at your door, remember, it almost certainly crossed an ocean inside a ship like this, kept moving by people you'll never see. If you want to keep going, the next one is wild. How crews sleep through a storm so violent the entire ship bends around them, and why they actually choose it over a hotel on land. That video's right here.